United Kingdom charity supports food security in Sudan and Yemen. Khalsa Aid International, a Sikh faith-based charity, has donated $2.75 million to the World Food Programme, or WFP, as part of a 3-year initiative. The funds will help the WFP continue its Healthy Kitchens program in Yemen. This project sources locally grown food and employs vulnerable individuals, 80% of whom are women, to prepare nutritious meals for almost 10,000 school children. In Sudan, the collaboration brings nutrition aid to tens of thousands of refugees who have fled Ethiopia's Tigray region, especially at-risk children under 5 and expectant and nursing mothers, to prevent malnutrition. Ravi Singh, founder of Khalsa Aid International, praised the joint endeavor, saying, "I envisage this is just the start of a long partnership to help feed the world's hungry." Our sincere appreciation, Khalsa Aid International and WFP, for your wonderful collaboration. May heaven forever bless the Yemeni people and nourish and comfort the displaced people of Ethiopia.
Climate Research Coalition warns of massive commitment gap on emissions at COP26. In a new published study, Scientific Analysis Group Climate Action Tracker, or CAT, estimates that with the new pledges submitted by countries at the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of the Parties, or COP26, global greenhouse gas emissions in 2030 will be twice that of what is required to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Sovereignly, the publication warns that at this level of emissions, the world is heading to at least 2.4 degrees Celsius of warming in 2100. Many scientists have said this would lead to devastating sea level rises and extreme weather, including droughts, floods, heat waves, and storms. According to CAT, no single country at COP26 has adequate short-term policies or legislation in place to reach the longer-term commitments of achieving net zero by 2050. Many thanks for the insightful, alarming assessment, Climate Action Tracker, to avert climate disasters. May world governments urgently implement the environmentally protective vegan law in celestial brilliance.
Vegan, protester of the brutal oppression toward animal people.
Up next, United States study finds positive stories can influence moral values of youth. We are now going to thank the pediatric psychologists who are doctors that kindly provide diagnosis and treatment to children and adolescents facing mental, behavioral, and emotional challenges.
The United States study finds positive stories can influence children's moral values. Professor Lindsay Hahn of the University at Buffalo in the United States and fellow researchers from other institutions selected the main character from a young adult novel and wrote comic book stories to highlight one of 4 moral values: care, fairness, loyalty, and authority. About 200 youngsters aged 10 to 14 took part in the study. Researchers measured the importance the study participants placed on moral values according to the team's specific scale after reading the comics. Dr. Hahn concluded, media can distinctly influence separate moral values and get kids to place more or less importance on those values, depending on what is uniquely emphasized in that content. Our gratitude, Professor Lindsay Hahn and co-researchers, for examining the media's impact on our precious youth. In the wisdom of the Providence, may more positive media lead our children to create a more benevolent and loving world.
European Union, or EU, drafts law to help reduce global deforestation. The EU recently released proposed legislation that would ban the import of wood, coffee, palm oil, cocoa, beef, and soy that comes from areas that have been deforested or degraded since the start of 2021. Currently, it is estimated that 16% of global deforestation is due to products bound for the EU's market. The imported items must also have been produced in accordance with the exporting nation's laws, and strict checks would be conducted on products from countries deemed to be high risk. Proposals were also submitted to improve the carbon content and health of soils and improve waste management. The European Union is a recipient of 4 Shining World Leadership Awards for humanitarianism, 2 Shining World Leadership Awards for peace, and a Shining World Leadership Award for earth protection, as well as a laureate of 2 Shining World Leadership Awards for humanitarianism and Shining World Leadership Awards for compassion, unconditional world care, and true caring. Way to go, European Union, for your ongoing move towards a green, eco-friendly continent. In God's splendor, may your actions soon lead to a fully plant-based Europe that sets the world's standard in responsible and sustainable living.
Norwegian Nobel Committee honors freedom of speech with 2021's winners. Journalists Maria Ressa from the Philippines and Dmitry Muratov from Russia were joint laureates of this year's Nobel Peace Prize. The committee merited the win to their efforts to safeguard freedom of expression through their work in media, a necessary precondition for democracy and lasting peace. Ms. Ressa co-founded the digital media company Rappler, which, despite difficulties, has continued to publish investigative journalism reports since 2012. Chief editor Mr. Muratov dedicated his prize to the reporters of his independent newspaper Novaya Gazeta, 6 of whom lost their lives while exposing things like corruption and human rights abuses. Our appreciation the Norwegian Nobel Committee for highlighting the importance of honest media. Our salute Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov for your tireless work. May all those who bravely inform with truth for more peaceful and just societies be forever protected and blessed in divine glory.
Renowned physician from United States advocates for vegan food in hospitals and improved physician nutrition training. Dr. Michael Greger, a best-selling vegan author, recently stated on his website, nutritionfacts.org, that more of his nation's hospitals need fully plant-based menus. Dr. Greger was responding to the American Medical Association resolution that encourages hospitals to adopt plant-based options for patients, staff, and visitors. He also stated that 11 million people around the globe lose their lives each year due to dietary factors and recommended medical school training have a larger focus on nutrition. Thank you, Dr. Michael Greger, for promoting the benefits of a vegan diet to raise the awareness of doctors, the medical industry, and the public. In heaven's radiance, may your message be heard clearly in all hospitals and medical training institutions as they integrate healing through plant-based food into their practice.
Devoted Serbian animal people lover honors legacy of late mother. Dejan Gacic and his late mother Svetlana from Čumić, Serbia, established Woodchuck Shelter in 1997 with a lifetime mission of providing a loving home to neglected animal people. The mother and son nursed, fed, and sheltered the animal persons as their numbers increased. After his mother's passing, Mr. Gacic persisted despite facing many challenges while operating the shelter alone. Currently taking care of over 1,000 dog people, plus some cat and wild animal persons, Mr. Gacic said, "I will fight for animals until I die." The kind-hearted man also built a wolf people sanctuary and advocates for them, knowing they are threatened with extinction by constant poaching. Woodchuck Shelter has fortunately survived with financial support from people around the world. We are deeply touched by your compassion, Dejan Gacic. May all loving animal friends be blessed and safeguarded in the grace of the Providence.